Hello and welcome everyone to the Circuit Sao Paulo in Brazil. I'm your host once again for Tier 3 of BRL here from the Brazilian Grand Prix. Ferrari Nut 94 commentating the penultimate round of the championship. Everything sealed up in Mexico and previous rounds. Looks like we've already got some cars going out on track. Joe is the champion. Haas are the constructors champions for this season. So everything to play for except for bragging rights at this point and maybe a couple of race wins, as both Mercedes immediately jump out on track. Heatwave appears to be the car behind, so Zampa is going to be... Actually, no, he's not going to be the first car on track. That is going to be Danny Rick, F1, the man who, I believe, won the race. Won the race last week in the Alpha Tauri. Sun setting very low in the background there. Alright, so there we go. We have everything set up for this qualifying session. We're going to stay on board with, or we're going to keep watching, rather, Danny Rick as he goes through his flying lap around this circuit. We're actually going to hop on board with him here, coming down towards Junção, this final corner where we saw Kimi Räikkönen famously go off in, I believe, 2012 and get locked in behind the gate on the right-hand side there. Then down the long front straightaway. It's quite a, for the length of the track, it is quite a long straightaway. You start off in fourth gear, coming out of the corner, and then you're all the way doing almost 200 miles an hour by the time you get to turn one, down into the Senna S. He locks up that inside tire into the right-hander, and then into turn 3, this long sweeping left-hander onto the back straightaway, down to turn 4 right here. Very odd off-camber left-hander into turn 5, flattens out and then goes back uphill towards the Curva de Sol right here, and into what used to be considered the infield section of the track. Slow right, slow left. Very important to get good traction out of this corner. Into another slow right, where we saw Alexander Albon get punted by Lewis Hamilton. And there you see, very hard on the power, getting the back end all sorts out of shape. Back towards Junção, and one of the Mercedes appears to have headed off. Check back with that here and just say, oh, and there goes Danny Rick. So unfortunately, he will not be completing that lap. Resets the track, it looks like. I'm not sure if the game did that or if he did that manually, but Zampa has invalidated, and Heatwave on the medium runs a very wide line there through that final braking zone. Not sure what that was all about, but he's also invalidated. He's out there on a medium tire, whereas his teammate is out there, and that's going to invalidate the next lap already. So nobody's setting a time. Seems like nobody wants to set a time. There we go. The champ, Joe, sets a time in the Haas of 106.7. So far, he is the only man to have set a time. Silkweaver now joins him on the board with a 109.3 in the McLaren on the medium tire. Let's see who else might be on a flyer. Groggy Oregano coming down towards the line. What's he going to do on the soft? He's going to do a 108.9. That puts him P2. Looks like Heatwave's had another off there at the Curva de Sol, and he spins it again, and that's going to be in the barrier. Looks like he's still all in one piece there, so probably wants to get off those tires at this point. Zampa setting another lap here. He's in traffic, and he is out of fuel, so he's headed back to the pit lane, as is TTM Stenner. Marlon Kanga is on a flyer on the mediums. What's he going to be able to do? It's going to be a 108.0, so a good lap there to go P3, but CRS Face Taste sets a 107.9 on the same tire, so just a hair quicker to go P2. And here we have BRL Error in the Red Bull with his teammate Redeemer just in front of him on the medium. These guys really should have planned this out a little bit better. If he was on the medium, he should have been the one behind. And Redeemer gets out of the way accordingly, so that's going to allow Error into some clear air for the latter part of his lap. Very important as he comes down towards Junkow. He's at 51.6. We'll see where that puts him. Sixth, seventh, eighth gear. DRS open. Just going to run out of deployment there, I think, right at the death. No, not quite. That's going to put him P4, just behind Marlin and Space Taste in the Red Bull. Redeemer coming up to the line. That's going to jump him up to 7th, but he did get out of his teammate's way there, so he's probably going to go for another lap on those mediums here in just a moment. Looks like Tesla Leclerc is on a flyer. He is coming down through turn 5 up towards turn 6. Cleanly through the curve of Dassault, braking hard for turn 7. He is on the soft tire, so this is a very quick lap. Leclerc kept it clean in Mexico and managed to end up on the podium, I believe, there at the end of the race. Memory serves correctly in the Racing Point. This car will become the Aston Martin next game, so roughly about 6 months from now, hopefully, is when we'll see that changeover happen. No real movement anywhere on the page. Keeps it nice and tight coming to the line. It's going to be a 107.6, so he immediately jumps to P2, about 9/10 behind Joe at the top of the leaderboard. Looking here at Danny Rick, he is going to be coming off of Junkow up towards the start-finish line. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of a toe possibly off one of the Mercedes. That, I believe, is Zampa. It is. Not really, because he's keeping that tight line coming to the start-finish line. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 107.1, so he's going to jump up to P2 behind Joe now. And we're going to go right on board with Zampa. Zampa has had no luck in this session so far. Actually, it looks like Stenner is, I think, going to be the first man to set a lap out of this bunch, so we'll come back to Zampa momentarily here. Oh, gets very loose out of the curve of Dassault there. Very easy to do. Again, out of turn 7, getting loose as well. Not going to be doing his lap time any benefit at all. He needs to work on the stability of that car's rear end a little bit before we come back here next time. So anyway, down into... Oh, that was tight. 51.4. Very short lap here at Sao Paulo. So very, very, very quick times around this circuit. Up to the line. What's he going to do? He's going to go to P4. Where is Zampa going to end up? He is going to jump to P3. So he's going to displace all of them except for Danny Rick and Joe. And it was only just a little bit off of Danny Rick there for P2. So a good second effort from the Mercedes driver. We'll look now at Heatwave, his teammate, who just started a lap, actually. So we're going to jump down to Mitch, is also about to start a lap. Who's out there on a lap? Stenner is on an in-lap, I believe, as is Zampa. Danny Rick into the pits, and... so looks like Heatwave is going to be the first man to complete a flying lap right now. Silk Weaver he's behind them, so we're going to stay with Heatwave here. What can the Mercedes do? Oh, and he invalidates. That's unfortunate. Jump down to Mitch in the Haas. He's on the medium tire. Twitchy there coming down the hill towards the final corner. 51.3, so it's a good time on the medium. That's a really good time on the medium, actually. Where's he going to end up? He's probably going to be in the top 5 with this lap. Let's see what he can do. Coming down to the line, keeps it nice and tight on the left-hand side of the road. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 107.8. That puts him actually right behind Stenner's time, and just in front of Face Taste. So he is the highest placed medium runner right now, and that's actually quite impressive from the Haas. Marlon Kanga has invalidated Groggy Oregano out there on a flyer at the moment in the Renault. And he runs wide and invalidates. That's unfortunate. Just tried to carry a little too much speed through that corner. Usually it's pretty easy flat out, so maybe he doesn't have the downforce quite dialed up. It looked like it got loose on the back end and just got away from him. Redeemer moving slowly there. Killer also with an invalidation. Same thing with Heatwave. So 2 guys still yet to set a time. Heatwave and Killer, who is usually one of the faster guys in qualifying. He's going to have a couple more bites at the apple here to get a time in. In the meantime, we're going to hop up to Face Ace. He's started a lap. He's coming down through the first couple of corners, and he is going to be pretty much par even with his time so far. And he runs wide and invalidates. That's unfortunate. Very easy to do through turn 4. Just get that little bit offline, get some dirt on your tires, and that's all she wrote. So looking there, looks like Joe's actually a 10th up on his time, so he is purple through Sector 1. Quickest of all for the Haas. Noticing that Rawlings is actually out and Mitch is in at Haas. Not sure if that's going to be a permanent thing for this week and next, but focusing on his teammate right now, the champ, coming down to the end of Sector 2, flicks it out wide for the entry of that corner, keeps it nice and tidy through. What's it going to be? He's almost 2 tenths up now, so again, about a 10th quicker through each sector. What can he do through the 3rd sector? This is a pretty straightforward, it's pretty much one corner and a long straightaway, so it's really not too difficult to, it's really difficult actually to gain time through that sector. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 106.555, so he raises the bar even higher. Danny Rick's invalidated. That's unfortunate. He was about 3 tenths up, which would have put him closer to Joe's time. He's going to dive off into the pits, probably take 1, maybe 2 more cracks at it. Looking here at Stenner, he's about 2 tenths up on his time. Coming through the curve at Assault, about half the car on the curve, right what he needs to do there. Maximizing speed without risking invalidation. Very tidy exit out of that corner, carries a lot of speed through there. Nice and wide, cuts it back, keeps the back end under it. It's crucial to keep the back end under it at that very tight right-hand hairpin in Sector 2. He's 3/4 of a second up. This is probably going to end up being a high 6, which would put him to P2. Stenner doing a very, very good job there. That's going to put him indeed to P2. It's a 107.06, so not quite into the 6s, but he is right there. Joe just having that little bit more in the bag here in qualifying, as is kind of the norm. Looking down here at Redeemer, he is on a flyer. He's actually, no, I don't think he is not on a flyer. He is on an in lap, that or he's on a cooldown lap between flyers. Looks like he has got somebody right behind him. That's looks like possibly one of the Haas's. That might be Marlin, actually. That is Marlin. So looking at Killer F1, he is on a flying lap here in car number 12. What can he do? Can he get up into the top half dozen? And here, Stenner is on an in lap, so we're going to stay with Killer as he comes through the end of Sector 2. Keeps it nice and tidy there. A little bit wide on the entry, cuts it back tight. Doesn't run wide. 50.9 through the first 2 sectors. What's he going to be able to do up to the line? This is all about traction and line through these couple of last corners here, which really aren't even corners. They're kinks. They're flat out. You don't even have to think about it. It's going to be a 107.3, so puts him in P5 at the moment. Going to have possibly one more chance at it if he can get back in and get back out. It is doable, but it is tight to do so. And it looks like the other driver, Heatwave, that had not set a time, has jumped in right behind him at a 107.3. And I believe he is on another fly lap. Not sure why, because the track will be getting quicker here. And just keeps it inside the bounds there off of the curve of the Sol. Up here to the end of Sector 2, what are we going to be able to achieve? So yeah, not a very good lap there. It runs wide and validated. So maybe he was on a cooldown lap. Maybe he just got it turned up for, I don't know, reasons. But he's going to get back to the pits, take one more crack at it. Let's take a look at TTM Mitch, who's actually jumped up to P2. So the Haas's currently have the front row locked out. Only man other than his teammate to drop into the 106s is Mitch and Joe. So the Haas's definitely flexing their strength as they have all season, regardless of who's in either one of those seats. That team just seems to be very well put together. Danny Rick here on a flyer. He has improved a little. Now he's improved a lot, actually. Sets, I believe, the fastest Sector 2 of the session, or at least his fastest Sector 2. About a 1/10.5 up. What can he do up to the line? Got to run a tighter line than that, Sunshine. Losing time not doing that. So it's going to be a 106.9, so that's going to put him P3 just behind the Haas's and ahead of Stenner. Redeemer improves his time, but not his position. Still P14 down at the bottom. What's Groggy going to be able to do? He is 1.1 seconds down, so not a good lap there. Not sure if he was on a push lap at all. So now we are going to go look at Zampa. I believe he is on a cool down lap, I think. That is Leclerc. Actually, yes, it is. There it is. Leclerc, I believe, is on a flyer right here, coming down towards Junkao. He's going to be about a half second up on his time, so this is going to be a very good lap. Killer has retired from the session, I believe, in the pit lane. I think that he thinks that's all she wrote for him. What's the Racing Point going to be able to do to haul himself up from 8th? He is going to go to P5 with a 107.1, very tight up at the top. Between P2 and P8 is about half a second. Face Taste retires in the pit lane as well. Error retires on track, it looks like. Silkweaver retires from the session in the pit lane. Redeemer and Error moving very slowly there. Not sure what that's all about. Error is definitely out of the sessions. Anyway, moving back along here, we are going to be looking at... There's Danny Rick. Looks like he's got some damage on the front of that Alpha Tauri, so that's not going to be good for him. He's not going to get any better than 3rd there. Heatwave retires from the session on track. Danny Rick retires from the session. Who is going to be the first up to the line? Clerc's on a cool-down lap. Zampa is on a cool-down lap. Stenner is on a flyer, I think. Nope, he's not. He's on a cool-down lap. Nobody really on a flyer here at the end of the session. Except for maybe Marlin. Nope, he's already finished the session, so that's going to be it, folks. Joe gets the pole. And Mitch is going to start alongside with Danny Rick hot on his heels. Alrighty, folks, and there you have it. Joe F1 on the pole with a 106.5, 3/10 clear of his teammate. And Danny Rick F1 rounds off the top 3. Only 14 starters here in Brazil tonight. It's an all-Haas front row in Brazil. We'll be back momentarily for the start of the race. Stay tuned. Alrighty, folks, and we are back here in Sao Paulo as the drivers are making their way around the formation lap. Everybody in the top 10 obviously forced to start on the tires they qualified on, which is going to be the soft for every single one of them. Bureau error, the first man to do something different. Starting on the medium tire, you can in fact take the mediums one stop here. It's borderline on the danger zones of 70% for those tires. However, it is doable. Soft to medium and medium to soft going to be the ideal strategy. You can make the hard work as well, but that is only if your car and setup is a little bit harsher on tire wear. It is definitely doable and a little less risky. So CRS Facedays starting on that hard tire down in P13 going to be looking to make inroads on the field when they stop. As the field filters down here to the... I've got the hiccups now. Hold on just a moment. There you see your F1 Insights by AWS. Race strategies. Waiting on the lights. There we are. 3, 4, 5 lights. And we're ready to bring the action here in Brazil. Everybody is away from the line. Get that graphic up on the screen. I don't need to see that right now. We got turn 1 action. So Joe leads into turn 1. Looks like we got some connection issues and some scoring issues. And looks like Killer is off into the barrier on lap 1. That is going to bring out a safety car here on the opening lap of the race. That is going to shake things up quite a bit. So everybody now going to filter back around. Not particularly sure what happened. We saw him in the background of the picture just pretty much go straight on. Unfortunately, out at turn 2, a la David Coulthard. So unfortunate for him. Usually he has a pretty good start to the race. Sometimes it doesn't always pan out towards the end, but usually the start's at least okay. Everybody's going to have to hold station now for a couple of laps. The safety car waits at the end of Sector 1 for the leader. And several guys, Danny Rick, Stenner, and Zamp. Stenner picking up a 5-second time penalty there for speeding in the pit lane. Facedays now going to move up a few spots as people behind him pit. Stenner and Zampa both opting for the medium, as does Danny Rick there. So they are planning on, careful Danny, don't get it loose in the pit lane. You're going to hit a wall, you keep that up. Same thing with Stenner. Guys, it's under safety car. You're not going to gain anything by driving ridiculously quick through that narrow pit lane. Under green, I can maybe understand it. But man, that is a narrow pit lane in these big old cars, and it is sketchy at the best of times. So no reason to risk the car. You're gonna catch up to the field here pretty quickly. So I think we might be in for a 1-lap slapper on the safety car here, if not in 2 laps. Light's still on the top of the safety car, so that I think indicates that we are going to go 1 more lap around. So maybe not the start we were hoping for there, as we immediately got a safety car after just 3 corners of racing. But that kind of shakes up the strategy game a little bit. Especially with Stenner, because he now has that 5-second time penalty he will have to serve on his next pit stop. So we are going to go around 1 more time. Apparently the game crashed on Killer's Xbox and sent him straight on into the barrier, as it looks like now Heatwave dives into the pits in the Mercedes, so maybe opting for a slightly different strategy. We will see what he does here in a moment. He's going to opt for the medium tire as well there. But now he's going to be behind his teammate. So maybe not wanting to double stack with his teammate is all that was. So you can see right there, he's actually underfueled the car a little bit. So this could play into his hands a little as far as saving fuel. See if anybody else has got that fuel light on. Silkweaver does. He's kind of notorious for underfueling the car. It can benefit you to underfuel the car at certain tracks that favor handling, like Monaco. Obviously, you don't need to burn a lot of fuel there, so you can kind of run around in standard and lean, really, most of the track, and it really doesn't affect you too much. Really, the only places you even need standard at Monaco are going to be the tunnel and down the front straightaway and up towards the casino. So literally 3 parts of the track are all you need, that particular circuit. But I don't think Brazil would be a place that I would want to do that, just because of the simple fact you do have 3 fairly long fast straightaways. Obviously from the final corner down to turn 1, from turn 3 to turn 4, and then from turn 5 to turn 6 is a pretty decent little straight as well. You can make an overtake there. Safety car in this lap, you see the graphic there at the bottom. So the field is now in control of Joe F1, and we will watch him on the restart. Redeemer, 5-second time penalty for a collision with his teammate. Oh boy, that's awkward. Colliding with your teammate, never a good thing. Actually, looks like Error may have been the one that collided with Redeemers, because he's in front. And there's another one. So Error giving his teammate multiple 5-second time penalties there. Those will probably be looked at. Zampa and... oh, looks like Zampa's got some wing damage, I think. And he picks an insult to injury right there, getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, we got some wing damage there, running in the back of Stenner on the restart. So we're going to look here at Stenner. He's looking to make a move here on Danny Rick early on. Trying to establish himself as the front runner of that bunch. Zampa has left the session, called it quits. And looks like we got Stenner almost... he almost bit the dust there. I saw him in the corner of the screen and didn't catch him quick enough. Not sure what happened there, if he got some help or if that was entirely of his own doing. Here on this opening lap, Joe has already jumped out to a 1.1 second lead here coming towards the end of the second sector. So the lead Haas definitely getting away from the field a little here. Meanwhile, his teammate TTM Mitch runs in second, just in front of the racing point of TES Leclerc. Leclerc seems to have better race pace than pretty much almost anybody except maybe Joe. So he comes alive when the race gets to it. Joe sets fast lap of the race finally at 110.4. We'll see how long that stands as the race goes on. Everybody's still very tight as we look down the field. Everybody kind of evenly spaced right now. Nobody really looking to make any moves. Stenner, unfortunately, he lost a good 4 spots with that mistake. So that's going to hurt him for the rest of the race, I think. Now he's the last car running. Let's check in on our biggest mover of the race. Biggest mover of the race right now is Silkweaver picks up a 3-second time penalty for running off track. Is going to be Groggy Oregano 16, giving a shout out to the Renault boy. Picked up 7 spots so far. Biggest loser is his teammate, unfortunately. So one half of that camp very happy. The other half, not so much right now. Losing 8 spots since the start. Everything holds station out front. Tesla Clerk up to Marlon Conga, Redeemer, and Error all up 5 spots. Redeemer has those 2 5-second time penalties caused by his teammate running in the back of him. So we got to imagine that will get removed. So we'll keep an eye on that at the end of the race, and kind of give you an idea where he will probably get elevated back up to at the end. Looking down here, face takes of Danny Rick. I think Danny Rick's definitely got the advantage in that situation, being on the medium. No danger from behind at all. And Stenner and Silkweaver going side by side through turn 4. Stenner trying to make up for the mistake he made a couple of laps ago. Already got back by Silkweaver. Now sets his sight on HRT. Heatwave up ahead in the Mercedes, and the Ferrari of CRS Facetace ahead of him. Looking here at Danny Rick, he is all over the back of Groggy Oregano here, coming down towards the final corner. Oh, and error is off. Error has made an error there at Junkow. Rejoins in P13, or P11, sorry. Danny Rick looking very racy here. Joe and Mitch both setting fast lap there. Mitch taking it away by just a hair at a 109.869. And are we going to see a move here? We're going to look to the front. No, not close enough for a move. I don't know why it's going to this rear-facing camera on this car, but that's not really the view I need to see. As Groggy runs a little deep there through the Senna S, that's going to give Danny Rick DRS and a run and a look into turn 4. Going to run up the inside. Very tight, close racing through there, a little bit too tight. Groggy's going to go a little off track there, coming up towards the curve of the Sol, stays on the inside. That's going to allow Facetace around the outside, a little bump and grind right there between the two of them. But Groggy's going to maintain position for the moment, and that's going to elevate Danny Rick back up to P6, having already made a stop. He is looking pretty solid right now. Next car ahead is Redeemer. See how far exactly Danny Rick is off of the lead. He is currently 7.6 seconds, 7.7 seconds, thereabouts off the lead right now, having made a stop dealing with traffic. So I think he's doing quite admirably right now with that AlphaTauri. As this run progresses here in the next few laps, he will start to gain time back on the leaders on those fresher, slightly harder compound tires. Looks like Facetace making a move here on Groggy Oregano. Going up the inside at turn 4. He gets the move done before the corner's over. Good move there. Stenner has actually jumped a couple of people as well. He's gotten around Heatwave. And now sets his sights on his teammate just in front of him. Groggy quickly slipping back down the order. Back up at the front there, Mitch has gotten a lot closer to Joe. He's broken the DRS to test Leclerc behind. So Groggy picking up a 3-second time penalty there for running off track. Not going to do his race any favors. Now his teammates right on him, got the overtake button engaged, going to have DRS in a moment. Both of them have DRS actually, so he's going to have to rely on the overtake button to get by. Going to jump up to the inside, coming up to turn 1. Very close, maybe a little slight touch right there, but the bananas go side by side and through without issue. This is important for Stenner to do because he's got, again, that 5-second stop-go penalty from speeding in the pit lane that he will have to deal with. Heatwave also making the pass there on Groggy Oregano in the background. Danny Rick now back up onto the rear of Redeemer in the sister Red Bull. He's got Facetace all over the back of him. Facetace doing extremely well on those hard tires as Redeemer ghosts out for a second there, and that's going to allow, oh, Danny Rick getting very sideways. He's going to be on the outside. It's not where you want to be. So he is going to, oh, and that, oh, wow, that is Redeemer. Ooh, that was tight. So now that is going to put Danny Rick under assault from Facetace. Got DRS open, got the inside line already. He's going to have that pass done before they even get to turn 1. Easy move for the Ferrari, but now he's got to defend from Danny Rick down the next straightaway. Interesting to see what happens here. Up at the front, we'll jump up to those two Haas's who are fighting over the lead here in a moment. They're only about half a second apart, but we're going to watch this little fight. Looks like Danny Rick's going to have to hold station. Marlon Congo's had a very quiet race. He's up to P4 in the Williams, just about 2 seconds behind Tesla Leclerc, and about 5 seconds off the lead right now. He is doing an admirable job right now in the Williams, just minding his own business, not getting in trouble, and just running his own race. Here's the fight we want to see, though. The two Haas cars going at it. This is only going to allow the two guys behind them to get closer. Mitch is going to have DRS. He didn't get the best run out of that final corner, but he'll be able to close up on the next couple of straightaways now. Both running right out to the edge of the track limits with the inside tires on the entrance turn 1. About a half second down. Danny Rick making a move back on Face Taste. He's going to take that position back emphatically into turn 1. And now he will be on the defensive on the next straightaway, but looks like he got a good enough run out of turn 2, possibly to maintain it. We'll back up at the front here in just a moment. Looks like Face Taste thought about it, but nothing happening there. Face Taste currently looking to get that driver of the day done with the hard tire elevating him to P7 already, but he is behind a guy who has already stopped, and another one crawling all over him in Stenner in just a moment. Silkweaver picking up a 3-second time penalty. It looks like the Haas's have kind of sorted themselves out. Mitch falling off just a little bit from Joe there at the front. We're going to look back at Face Taste and Stenner. Looks like Face Taste will have DRS again on Danny Rick ahead, so that might be enough to hold Stenner at bay for the moment. But don't tell that to him. He's closing up on him as they come down the straightaway. He's got slipstream, he's got DRS, he's got the overtake button engaged at the start of the straightaway. He's just not close enough to launch a move up the inside. No, he hits the back of him. Got to be careful doing that, son. You're going to damage the front wing of that car, and then you're really going to be in trouble. Both of them got DRS again. He's drained the battery. He's going to go up the inside at turn 4. Yep. Makes Face Taste lock a wheel. And then through turn 5. Very tight corners there. Has to surrender the position going into turn 6. Redeemer picking up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. Running off track. Oh, and that is Heatwave, who has lost it and backs it into the barrier. Looks like the car is still intact. Gets it back pointed the right direction. Interestingly enough, not really looking like there's any wing damage, but he is now in P11. So Face Taste now released from Stenner a little bit. Got a yellow flag there in Sector 3. Did Heatwave? He has spun again. Heatwave with some sort of problem here. Probably going to head for the pit lane, I would think. And he does. Marlin picks up a 3-second time penalty. That kind of ruins that clean streak he had going in this race. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Heatwave retires from the session. So both Mercedes out of this race already. We're not even halfway. Should be seeing some pit stops momentarily from the guys who have not stopped out front. So that's going to be Marlin, Tesla Clerk, Mitch, and Joe. Everybody else behind, at least for the next few spots, has already stopped or is on a hard tire and will not be. Oh, and Marlin has spun the car. Marlin has spun the car. And I think he's got damage to boot. He does, in fact. Oh, my goodness. That just ruins his race right there. Joe hits the pit lane first, followed by Tesla Clerk. Mitch is going to have to go around again because he can't double stack with his teammate without losing time. So Mitch going to have to go long. Danny Rick up to P2, got Face Taste and Stenner right on the back of him. Danny Rick with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, going over those white lines just a little bit. The thing about this at the end of the race is that Danny Rick is going to pit and probably put on another set of mediums. I think that's the way to go because Face Taste is going to put on a set of softs at the end of the race and be a lot quicker. And it's getting a little bit overcast. I don't know if we were expecting rain. Let's take a look. Don't know, but it's getting awfully overcast all of a sudden here. We'll see if we maybe have some precipitation falling shortly. If I was anybody right now, I would want to be this guy, CRS Faceface. He is currently making a move on Danny Rick for the lead of the race right now. Oh, and he gets the touch, keeps it pointed the right direction. Great car control right there. Keep that Ferrari pointed the right way. As everybody else dives into the pits, Groggy Oregano elevated up to P4 now with teammate Stenner in P3. Only guy in the top 4 that does not have a penalty. So you know this guy is just praying for rain right now because everybody else very shortly will have to stop, but he can go quite a few more laps. Looking here at Joe, he's closed up on the back of Groggy already. His teammate right in tow. Not going to make a move before the straightaway. I think that would just be a little silly because you're just going to give away the DRS. Running right out to the extremes of the track. Now he's going to dive up the inside right at the detection point. I think he got him right after the detection point. No, neither one of them got it. So that's not good. He should have waited a little bit. Because now that's going to give Mitch an advantage down the straightaway, and he's going to close up that gap, and he's going to probably have a look into turn 4. They're both on the hard tire, interestingly enough. These guys still out there on the softs are starting to take a little bit of a risk here after this lap. Tires are going to be above 70% if they started on them. And they are definitely going to be risking punctures before too long. And back up here at the lead of the race for the moment. Everybody kind of evenly spaced out right now. There's really not a whole lot going on around the circuit. This is about the closest fight we've got is between Faceface and Danny Rick, both of which will have to stop again. Faceface loses a little bit of time there. Stenner picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there. Tesla Clerk getting by Groggy Oregano as Groggy finally dives into the pits. This guy's he's on the medium. He's about 4 seconds behind Mitch. I honestly think that if this race stays dry, that Leclerc has made probably the smart choice, I think, as far as tire compound, because he can make it as Marlin now sets the fast lap at a 109.6 on the medium. He's running down there in 11th and currently last behind Groggy Oregano. Looking back up at the front of the race. Again, everybody just kind of evenly spaced out. We're going to look here at Silkweaver and Redeemer going through the midfield section of the track. Looks like we might have a move going on here. Stenner is going to take a look. Not going to have it happen here at turn 1. Going to be right on the back of the Ferrari, though, so doesn't get a good run through turn 2. So unfortunately, it's not going to help him make a move down at turn 3, but he is gaining. They're both gaining on Danny Rick as they come down the straightaway. Again, just not close enough to make a move. Being that third guy in the DRS train has got to be just absolutely frustrating for Stenner because he's got a couple of penalties he's got to contend with. He wants to get around these guys and stretch his legs a little because he's obviously quicker. He's hanging on to the back of both of them. I think if he hadn't made that mistake and gotten caught up behind Danny Rick early in the race after their first stops, he probably would be driving off into the distance just a little bit. But unfortunately, Joe is actually gaining on all three of them right now. He's only about 6 seconds behind at this point in time. And there goes, oh, thought he went in the pits. No, he didn't. Here's Is Face-Taste going to be close enough for a move? He's on the button. He's got DRS. He is going to dive to the inside here at turn 4. Will he be able to make it stick? Oh, no, he gets tapped a little bit right there, I think, and that's going to compromise his run up the hill. That's going to allow Stenner to get really close coming up to turn 6, but just not close enough to make a move. All the infighting these three are doing is just allowing those two Haas's to get ever closer. Silkweaver gets around Redeemer as he comes into the pit there. And BRL Error has left the session. Try to get him back in here in a moment. Nobody close enough to do anything down the front straightaway this time. Yet again, everything kind of holds stations. These three are going to pretty much run like this until they get to their stop. Gotta think Face-Taste might want to go ahead and jump into the pits onto a set of mediums at this point, unless he thinks it's going to rain. It still possibly might, just from the look of things. It's quite overcast here at Interlagos. As these guys continue to run, only 2 laps difference between their tires. Face-Taste on slightly older tires, but at this point the wear is probably a little bit similar, or even maybe in Face-Taste's favor with that harder tire compound. So I would think maybe at the end of this lap he would want to jump into the pits, get an undercut on these guys, unless he's wanting to go to the soft at the end. Go to the medium, man. You'll be quicker. Oh, and right there, Danny Rick did not get a good exit onto the straightaway. That is going to allow Face-Taste to get a huge run, and he's got DRS right now on the AlphaTauri, but doesn't seem like he's close enough to make a move. He might be close enough this time. Nope, don't think he is. Don't think he's going to have enough steam to get there. These three have just been running nose to tail for so long here. There you have them, all three, 1, 2, and 3 in the camera shot. Joe and Mitch about 5.5 seconds back from this. This is going to be the fight right here. This will be the fight for, I believe, what is going to end up being 4th place, possibly even the final podium spot. Looks like Danny Rick might be headed into the pit lane. Yes, he is. He is headed into the pit lane. Stenner's going to stay out one more lap, I think, and then go into the pit lane. Hope that extra lap of freshness on the tires really allows him to chase down Danny Rick. Danny Rick going to the soft tire, so he is banking on just running out to the end on that soft tire. Don't think we're going to have any weather. Where he comes out in relation to Tesla Leclerc will determine how close that's going to be for the final podium spot. I think he's going to be a little too far back to really do much of anything. About 6, nope, actually more than that. He is about 7.5 seconds behind the Racing Point, currently running in 3rd effectively once these two front runners pit. It's the old adage, you want to be the first to pit last. Even already, Danny Rick has closed down almost a half second through that second sector of the track, which is exactly what he needs to do. He's got those soft tires switched on. He needs to start chasing these guys in front of him down, and there goes Stenner into the pits. What is Face-Taste going to do? Looks like we got that looks like Silkweaver actually is around at turn 4 and 5, gets it righted and back going without any issue. Just not having the race he wants there. Stenner pitting there. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Danny Rick. Danny Rick just going to blow by him already by Stenner and just gone. He is going to be miles ahead. Yeah, that gap blew out to about 6 or 7 seconds right there. Just already gone. From 2 to about 6. So about 4 seconds is what he gained on Stenner in that one lap. He's gained about 1.5 seconds on Tesla Clerk in the last lap and a half. And we're only inviting BRL Error back to this one more time because I gotta be focused on the battle here. So this is the battle for the race lead, effectively. Mitch and Joe. And now we got a glitched time there from Error. As Facetaste finally has hit the pit lane from P3, he is going to come back out somewhere between Danny Rick and Stenner, but on 1 or 2 lap fresher tires than Danny Rick. There they are, they're about even. He's going to come out, probably Silk Weaver's retired from the session on track there. Boy, wouldn't that spice things up, having a late race safety car. So now Facetaste only about 1.8 seconds behind Danny Rick, who's only 5 seconds behind Tesla Clerk. These guys are going to be involved in a fight for that final podium spot before too long. Danny Rick, I think he's on 2-lap tires, not 1-lap tires. So he is going to start running out of steam probably a couple of laps before the end, whereas Facetaste might be able to push this that little bit more. But he's got to get up on the back of the AlphaTauri ahead to make it happen. And there he got a little bit better run down the front straightaway. He's holding a little bit tighter line as well. He's gained a couple of tenths down this straightaway. He's really got to turn up the wick now. Danny Rick does also have that penalty to contend with. None of the guys around him do. Stenner served his 5-second stop go at that pit stop as well. So that is why he lost so much time in the pit lane. And the sun is back out, so that's only going to help these guys on these fresh, soft tires just get even more grip, because the guys in front just don't have anything else to fight with. They're on 10-lap-old tires. They've the goodies out of them, boys. These guys behind you are coming like freight trains. Facetaste closed down to 1.2 seconds. He's almost in the DRS of Danny Rick. If he can get there, I think he'll be able to get him. They're both still closing down on Tesla Clerk ahead. And he could possibly have DRS this lap. Gonna have to get a good run out of this corner. He got a better run last time. Oh, he gets a little twitch. Does he get inside DRS? I think he did. He did get inside the DRS, but only just. Rear wing flap comes open on the Ferrari, and he is going to start reeling in the AlphaTauri down the front straightaway. Not quite close enough for a move this time around, but possibly down at turn 4. He needs a good run through this corner. Just doesn't keep up with the AlphaTauri very well through that section of track. Hasn't been all race. Looking up at the front, Mitch and Joe are kind of getting a little close right here as they come up on the back of BRL Error. This car's ghosted out, so that's not going to play a factor. No move down at turn 4. We're going to keep an eye on these two down the front straightaway. Facetaste run a very clean race so far. And look, they're just out of the camera shot. Tesla Clerk only about 3 seconds ahead. I think if... Oh, and there goes Danny Rick. He is off and into the barrier. Danny Rick out of the race. We have a safety car with 10 to go. Danny Rick, unfortunately, a little too greedy on the loud pedal. So now that is going to force the question of what do we do here, boys? Looks like actually all 3 of the top 3 cars are in. They're going to lose track position. No, Facetaste's coming in. Why are you coming in? Why is he coming in, guys? I don't understand that. Stenner's going to stay out. He's going to jump at least 3 of them. I don't understand Facetaste coming in there. He could have had the lead of the race on 1 or 2 lap old tires. I don't understand that at all. I do not understand that decision-making process at all. you just pitted, your tires are still basically brand new. It's not going to be that big of a difference. What are you doing, son? That brings a few guys right back into this race. Stenner with a penalty right now. Let's do a quick check on the penalty situation. So he has got, ooh, wow, he's actually got 2 5-second time penalties there, plus a penalty and a warning. So I'm not sure what he's sitting on. Let's what am I doing? I have this now. So Stenner is sitting on 8 seconds of time penalties right now. So pretty much regardless of what he does, he is losing out at the end of this race. So throw the Hail Mary, get up there. Maybe you'll do all right. I honestly, he might have been better off pitting there, to be perfectly honest, because he wasn't going to drop below 5th place. So he might have been better off jumping into the pit lane, getting on a fresh set of tires, and getting one of those getting that 5-second time penalty off if he could. So not really sure what that was, what he was going to gain from that. From staying out there, he's bound to lose more, actually. So unfortunately, that takes Danny Rick out of a really good finish and a possible podium here in Brazil, fighting with Face Taste there for what was effectively P4 and possibly P3 on the racetrack for a few more laps. Face Taste might still end up on the podium here if things pan out his way. Waiting on the 2 Red Bulls to make their way back around. So our second safety car here in Tier 3 tonight. Unfortunately, it comes at the expense of one of the quicker drivers on the grid. All right, so we will see if we get the message safety car in this lap here in a moment. No, so we will be going one more time around. The race will resume with 7 laps remaining. Riding on board here with Face Taste, looking back at Marlon Kaga. I still don't understand the not coming in. He has no penalties. He could have had the lead of the race, and all he would have had to do really was try to play defense for a couple of laps till everything equaled out. Of course, all things equal, he would have been pretty much on equal playing field, I think, already. Softs really don't fall off a ton around here. After the first couple of laps, so with everybody already having a couple laps on their tires from the pit stop cycle and the safety car cycle, I don't really think it would have been that big of a detriment to him to be on a couple lap older tires, but let's see. Personally, I would rather be the guy defending on older tires at the end of the race, even if they're just a couple laps older. Life has many doors, Ed boy. All right, safety car is in this lap. So once again, for the restart, we are going to go watch Joe F1. Never mind, we're going to watch Stenner because I don't want to be on board for the restart. Alrighty, everybody coming down. We've only got 9 cars left in this race. There he goes. Joe is off like a cannon. Stenner right on his tail, and Mitch just behind him. No passing allowed before the start-finish line, so no laying back trying to get a run and get a cheeky overtake. Mitch picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him against Leclerc and Face, who are right on the back of the Haas. Stenner right on the back of the other Haas, just out front. He is going to try and win the race on track. I don't think he's going to have much of a chance of doing that on those slightly older tires. 4-lap older tires. It's going to make a little bit of a difference. Everybody pretty much holding station there on that restart. Joe looking to get away and secure this win. Nobody really able to make a move with everybody running a line like this. That's the unfortunate part of Formula 1 is nobody can really flex a muscle if everybody's going the same speed. Looks like this is going to be the fight on the track right here. Stenner against Mitch. Mind you, Stenner does have that extra 5-second time penalty compared to these guys, so he is going to go rocketing backwards at the finish unless he can... Oh, and now Face picks up a 3-second time penalty, trying to get around Leclerc. So Leclerc looks like he is going to be sitting pretty for a P2 here if things stay as is. Looks like possibly Stenner and Mitch, they've dropped off of Joe a little bit outside of DRS range. DRS will be enabled this next lap, and that is going to put Stenner right in the firing line. He is going to go down the order one way or the other. DRS now re-enabled on this lap, so that will enable probably Mitch to make a very decisive overtake on Stenner ahead. Nothing happening down to turn 4. Need a really good run out of turn 3 to make a move happen there. Everybody going to have to hold station through the midfield. Not really an overtaking opportunity to be had unless somebody makes a mistake, which everybody keeps it nice and tidy. Down the front straightaway is where he's going to have to make that move, and he's going to have to make it now, because if he waits, Joe is just going to drive off in the distance, and he's never going to see him again. Pretty even exit there, and now the DRS is going to kick in right here, and that is going to allow Mitch to have a huge run down to turn 1. He's on fresher tires. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to sail around the outside, and there's contact. Oh, and they both run out wide. And that's going to allow Leclerc to have a look and get by Mitch. But he's almost out of battery. He's going to have a run at the Renault. And he is now going to get to the outside of the Renault into turn 4. And that is going to be job done from Tesla Leclerc. Good job right there. He's up into P2 on track. Never mind the penalties. He said, "Well, that's mine already. I'm just going to take it." So good job to him. Joe about 3 seconds ahead right now. He needs to close that gap down just in case Joe makes a mistake or gets a penalty, gets a little sideways there. About half second in front of Stenner, who is still holding up Mitch and Face. I think he'll be all right down the front straightaway, but he is running dangerously low on battery. Stenner coming back at him. He's probably going to have to look to the outside. No, he's going to make a dive up the inside. He is. Stenner gets knocked around a little bit, and he's going to lose a few spots here finally. And he is now down and out of the way, but that just allowed Mitch to get back up close to the racing point, and here we go. Get off that backwards camera. And no way through for the Haas on this occasion, but Marlon Kaga is now looking for a move on face taste. Not going to happen. Gets off in the dirt a little bit. Nothing going to happen right there. And all this infighting between these guys, I don't see the point in Stenner trying to make that move. He knows he's going to lose spots as he wins this race. Why try to overtake the guy? Because now he's just cost himself track position. And Stenner is now out of the race. Too late for another red flag, or another yellow, or another full course caution, and a safety car. This is going to be the fight we're going to watch here, is TTM Mitch and Tesla Clerk for P2. And now Marlon Kaga does get around. Oh, Facetaste made a big mistake right there and lost out big time to Marlon. Mitch not going to have the run to make it happen down to turn 1. Is he going to have a look down at turn 4 again? I think he gets a little bit better run than Leclerc does out of turn 3. Not quite this time. I don't think he's close enough. Not going to be close enough this time. And he is now out of battery. Both these guys running pretty much on nothing. And that's going to be hurting both of them, actually. So Marlon behind, pretty much the same situation. All these guys have burned the battery out on the car, fighting each other. And I get that's the end of the race, but you really still want to try to maintain that little bit of extra battery. Like, if I was Mitch right now, I would... Well, he's not going to keep the position even if he gets by him. I would just, honestly, sit behind him, not use the battery, and then try to make a big old charge. And Joe's made a mistake there. Oh my goodness, what that could be if these guys weren't fighting each other. What that could have been. Looks like Mitch is going to look to the outside, regardless of whatever the penalty situation is. He's going to get by Leclerc, but Leclerc's just like, man, you know what? You go ahead and do that. I'm just going to get you back at the end here anyway. And now Joe gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to open this up. Oh my goodness, Leclerc needs to get a lot closer. Joe making mistakes right now. Oh my goodness, what could be if oh my goodness, Leclerc could have won this race, I think. He might still do it. CRS Real Tape, I don't know who you are, but bud, you ain't been in here all night. You need to get out. But yeah, I think that all started with Stenner trying to make that move, despite the fact he knows he's licked. That's just, that's a personal thing with me, guys. Don't make a move if you know you're going to lose the spot because of penalties. It's just not worth screwing the other guy over because it just pisses him off. It's coming up to the line. Joe is going to win the race, but he almost threw it away right here. He's almost thrown it away at the death. Joe's going to win. Mitch is second. For the moment, Leclerc takes second, only 4/10 behind Joe. Oh my goodness, what he must be thinking right now. What he must be thinking. Driver of the day goes to Groggy Oregano, picking up the most spots in this race from his grid position. Good job to him. Personally, my driver of the day has to once again go to Leclerc, just because he's kept it clean. He's almost won the race off of that. And I feel gutted for the guy because he should have won that race. He should have won that race. I will say that right now. And there you have it, your finishing order. Joe F1, Tesla Clerk, and TTM Mitch on the podium. Marlon Kaga fights back to fourth after spinning mid-race and ruining what was a really brilliant drive at the time. Recovers it to get P4, fastest lap of the race. is actually going to go to CRS Face Taste there in P5 with a 108.5 if I'm not mistaken, so he will pick up an extra point for that. But a very interesting strategic race throughout. Now we will go to get these guys in here. I'm going to take a momentary break before we do that, so we'll be back momentarily. All right, boys, so I'm going to take a momentary little break before we do the interviews, so y'all just sit tight for maybe a minute and a half. All right, boys, I am back. So we are going to start off with the man in third place, Mitch, formerly known as SSR Rawlings. So, Mitch, pretty normal race. You kind of just stayed behind, Joe pretty much the entire time. Really, you had a couple of opportunities to maybe try and overtake him, but just never was able to find a way by. Walk us through your night, because we really didn't see too much of it aside from just the two of you streaking off into the distance.
I mean, quality was okay. I didn't get a chance to practice much. No, Joe didn't either. So we got a Route 1 2. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of followed him. I seen the Renault. Okay, for the end of it. And I mean, I went for the other.
Yeah, we caught that on camera. We also caught the move he made on Leclerc there towards the end. So you finished P2 on track, lost out just there, right there at the end to Leclerc on penalties. So overall, good night for you. Could have been a little better without that last safety car, but I feel like that goes for a few people. Moving along to P2 in the race, Tesla Leclerc, only 4.5 tenths off the race lead and the win there at the end. I feel like you were robbed personally right there. I feel like Stenner kind of did you dirty by trying to pass you. He had to be aware of his penalty situation, having 8 seconds worth of penalties and you having none. You guys know how I feel about this. If you try to pass a guy when you got a large amount of penalties like that and he's got nothing and it's the end of the race, you're kind of a dick, in my opinion.
Someone has to say it.
Especially when you consider the fact that you were only 4 tenths off, and that definitely cost you time towards the end with Joe getting that penalty. Do you feel like you got the race win stolen away there? By somebody who wasn't even involved in the fight, actually.
In a way, I'm not too annoyed because Joe and Mitch just drove off into the sunset, so the safety car screwed them but really helped me. So I can't be too annoyed, but I am annoyed because Stenner ultimately took away the race win. He done the same thing at Mexico last week. He had like 21 seconds of penalties, I had none. And he sent it down the inside of me and towards the S's, so I just let him go. But I say, if you get drivers like that trying to overtake you on the second to last lap with penalties, then... And Stenner ended up retiring, so he got what he deserved in the end, as harsh as that sounds. Because ultimately he's ruined Mitch's race as well. And although Haas have got some really good points, they would have had top points had that not have happened.
Yeah, definitely noticed that he was holding you guys up as Joe was driving off into the sunset at the end of the race there. So either way, good performance. Should have been a win, but you got one more week in the season to make that happen. Moving on to the race winner tonight, Joe F1. Mr. Gators, I feel like we've had this conversation repeatedly throughout the season. Race winner again here in BRL. This time at Sao Paulo. How do you feel about that?
I felt pretty good. I mean, I did laps for realistic on Thursday, but since then I haven't touched the game, and I wasn't originally gonna race tonight, but I was kind of bored, so I decided to hop on and give it a shot, have some fun, and I got pole. I was pretty surprised after not doing any practice. I did like 1 or 2 laps when I got on, and then in the race, me and Mitch, we had really good pace until the first safety car on lap 1. We didn't pit. Neither of us really knew the strategy, to be honest. But we were worried about the 3 that pit on lap 1 on the mediums, I'm pretty sure. And at the end, we didn't think they were gonna go on softs, so we weren't really. We had a pretty decent gap for if they were gonna go on mediums, but they were on softs. And I think if there was no safety car at the end, they might have caught us at the end on their tires, but I'm not very sure. But then the final safety car just kind of ruined it. It didn't ruin it much for me, but for Mitch, he lost points from it. So yeah, still good points though.
Definitely did. You had it on lock there, and then on the penultimate lap, you picked up a 3-second time penalty. Man, you almost threw it away. If Stenner hadn't been launching moves up the inside of people, I think we'd be sitting here talking about you being in P2 instead of P1. Would you have to agree with that?
Well, before I got the penalty, the only reason I got the penalty, I got two warnings on the final lap, because I spun out of the final corner into the grass, so I had to try to pick the time back up, and then I got the penalty, and then I had to push real hard to get back out of 3 seconds of Leclerc, or else I would have lost. Yeah.
All right, well, gentlemen, that is going to be all the time we have tonight. Tune back in here in about half an hour for Tier 4, also from Sao Paulo tonight, with Sergeant Milk and whoever he's got whoever's commentating Tier 4. I don't remember. I don't even know who does it anymore. But anyway, thank you guys for racing tonight. We'll see y'all in 1 week's time for Abu Dhabi. I know it's not everybody's favorite track, but you know what? Everybody show up anyway, just because it's the last race of the season. Let's send this thing off with a bang. And that is going to be it from Brazil tonight. Once again, for R94 for BRL. We will see you in 7 days' time for the season finale Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from the Yas Marina circuit in the United Arab Emirates. From all of us here at BRL, have a safe week and good night.